Hello everyone, our program tonight will be starting soon. Thank you everyone for stopping by so far. We'll be having our listening party for our debut instrumental EP shortly. For now, sit back, relax, find a seat, get some snacks and soda, and try not to talk too loud to your neighbors. hello everyone. Good evening, happy March. Welcome to our new theater. A background that I definitely rushed to create earlier this week. Which honestly, I think it kind of went well because I think after making the album art, I was like, ooh, I really need to like just keep working on making backgrounds. And so for this one, I was like, I'm just gonna keep doing lineless and everything will be fine. It's just a background. It doesn't need to be fancy. No matter how much I believe in that. But we're here. Hello. Hi Citrona. Hi White, thank you for the resub for 2 months? Or is it 3 months? Wait. It's 3 months. Okay, I don't know. My activity fee was like, resubscribe for 2 months. They've been subscribed for 3 months. And I'm like, why are you giving me 2 different numbers? I think it's talking about like the subscription streak, which they could work that a little better in the activity feed. Anyway, thank you, hun. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I hope you continue to enjoy your luxury bedroom and your emote. I hope everyone had a good end of February. I know I didn't stream, like at all since last weekend because I was prepping for this. Hold on. I was like leading up to today, I was like, okay, I'm getting everything ready, I'm planning everything out, I'm mentally thinking about everything, and I was like, everything's going to be good, everything's going to be sexy and great. And then today, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up a little early, so maybe I can like shower before the YouTube premiere of the EP listening video. And I got super nervous, and I was like, oh my god, I was so nervous. I was so fucking nervous for some reason. I was like, why am I so nervous? I've shared my music before. I've done it super casually with Music Mondays and stuff. And I put random music randomly out there too. It was, that was so much. I had no idea why. I was just so fucking nervous. I guess because I was making this a big official thing for myself. I guess that was why. Also, hi Milo, hi Toad, hello friendos, welcome on in everyone. Happy Saturday, good evening. You should have came over to listen live. No. We'd have to share earbuds because I don't have like actual speakers for my PC, not like I really ever needed them because I'm not going to be blasting music. I'm not going to be broadcasting music loudly in my office. Fortunately, it's not like these, well, only one track has a small amount of panning, but even then, you know, it could be like, hey, it's my turn to listen, I need to hear the weird left-right ping-pong. Because I know some songs do that, or some just music does that in general, but I didn't really do any of that with this EP. I know, because even on some video game music stuff, technically some of the different leads or different synthesizers, especially on older consoles, would be split between the two sides also. They'd be like, I'm hearing only harmonies. I'm hearing nothing right now. I don't hear a lead melody. I don't think my monitor has built-in speakers. I feel like it would tell me if it did in like the settings of what I can use sound-wise. The answer is no. Oh hey, I can scroll down. I have Windows 11 and I know how to access your output device, but I've always known you had to like do a little finicky stuff to access the volume mixer, but I just went over and I just scrolled down all the way down past all of the output selections and I just saw the volume mixer within the same scrolling menu and I was like, oh, how nice. I wish I knew that. Okay, sorry, I had to adjust my mic a little bit. Anyway, hello. everyone. If you don't know what's happening tonight, I just debuted my instrumental EP called Liminal Diorama. Okay. First of all, let me pull it up on... Actually, you're not going to be able to see anything on the big screen really quick, because unless I pull up the thumbnail somehow in advance. Frame by frame, give me... Okay, hold on. I want... I'm like, ooh, I should probably have the album art showing awkwardly. Good enough, okay. And we're gonna full screen this. And I hope I don't accidentally press play. Because that would be awkward. Let's make sure this is going to show the right one. Cool. Okay. So yeah, in case you don't know, today we released our debut EP. It is an EP of 11 tracks total. Playtime of 35 to 36 minutes. We have constantly been making music for like a decade now, and it's been a struggle. Same with like art and any other creative endeavor we do. It's been a struggle to be like, ooh, should we release it or put any of our stuff out in the world? And we're a lot better with that when it comes to simple art and graphic design stuff, but music, we've been really shy and timid about it. But we've really been wanting to ever since we've been started streaming and started doing more music again. And started just doing a lot more music, especially once we re-debuted as Bonnie. So here we are. So we started making music 10 years ago-ish, I think around 2015. And this is because I've mentioned it quite a few times on stream before. We started doing some silly game development stuff in high school using RPG Maker XP, VX 2003. And we kind of just played around with those, made our own projects, and we learned how to do pixel art and learned how to make our own music because of that. Also, it's kind of like the whole thing that jump-started us making world building and getting into story writing. Yeah. So when we first started out, a lot of the files that the old RPG Maker programs used was MIDI files, and the easiest way for me to get around to starting to make music was using a program called Anvil Studio. So I was heavily using Anvil Studio since then all the way up to 2017 maybe? Partway through, I think at the end of 2016 or 2017 was when we started using LMMS. We've used that DAW before on stream for some of our older music streams up until like last year when we bought FL Studio. So we've been making music for a while. Again, it's a lot of game development origin, so there's a lot of video game influence in our music. But as you may have heard on some of our music making streams, we do songwriting also. I think songwriting is one of the things that's a lot more hidden compared to everything else we do music-wise. So hopefully now that we have some sort of music out there in the world, that's a step forward for us to be a little less awkward about this sort of thing. But for now, we are presenting this EP. We got inspired seeing a lot of just instrumental music lately. Also, I think 2 years ago, or like end of 2023-ish, we listened to music for Animal Cafes by Nobonoko, and we really liked that it was a full instrumental album, and the entire album had a theme to it, so it was, you could also think of it as telling a story, which I was like, oh, I really like the way that this is telling a story in regards to like each track is kind of representative of an hour of the day that you spend at the Animal Cafe, because you know that's what the album is about. And so that kind of drove me to realize maybe that's how I can, because I guess my issue would have been trying to figure out how I would first put music out there. So I think doing something like an instrumental album or EP that kind of tells or hints at a story, I think was a pretty spot on way to do it. So a lot of the tracks in this EP were composed in LMMS between 2023 and 2024, with a lot of cleaning up and finishing for 2025 because, released today, and today's in the year of 2025. More importantly, a good selection of the tracks, I would say 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tracks in the album were actually original tracks that we composed back between 2015 and 2016 that were later remastered in LMMS. So they were originally Anvil Studio MIDI compositions that we decided to remaster. And some of those were remastered. A lot of these tracks in this entire EP were specifically composed for the EP, but a lot of them were just happened to be remastered as we were working with this new music program. And we decided to bring some of them into this EP, kind of as a way to kind of, I guess, showcase our concepts and brainstorming that we had even a decade ago when we first started. So yeah. Thank you everyone that came by. We had our YouTube premiere party earlier today at 11 a.m. my time, PST. So if you were able to make that, I appreciate you very much. But we're here. If you weren't able to make it, we are doing our YouTube listening party. But I'm going to be providing a lot more commentary as we listen to the EP. I'll try not to talk all the time. I'll probably try to talk like every 3 tracks if that works with everyone, I guess. So I'm not talking after every single track. And having to pause it just right. But we'll do it that way. Is there anything else I need to mention? If you want to listen to this video on YouTube on your own time, it's in my Discord server. I have it in the pinned message that you can access it and listen to the album there. Otherwise, if you want to buy the full EP or purchase individual tracks to have locally on your computer, on your devices, feel free to check out the Bandcamp link. Our Bandcamp page is now live now that we finally have music. Because usually a Bandcamp page isn't actually filled with anything or actually designed until the artist starts putting stuff on there. So if you'd like to support us, it's absolutely no pressure. We included the YouTube listening party for a reason, the YouTube premiere, and we're doing these listening parties for a reason. And down the line, as we let this kind of sit in everyone's head, we'll probably do a subscribers only access to part of the EP, not the full thing, but part of the EP, kind of as a subscriber rewards benefits, because I know that otherwise you get access to our emotes, which is cool and all, but since we're putting a lot more creative stuff out there, we did have some chats with some of our friends, and we thought it was a good idea to do like a subscriber only benefits that involves exclusive access to some of our, say, creative work, because I want to include maybe art in there at some point. So that'll be in the making, because that's something I need to figure out down the line. But for now, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with our first 3 tracks of this EP. I'll be chatting in the Twitch chat while the tracks are playing, but I won't be talking over them. Yeah, feel free to listen along. Our question of the day is what your favorite track is from this EP. So if you don't know yet, I hope you enjoy and take a good listen. Okay, so let's turn off our theater chatter SFX background sound effects that I got for this. And okay, let's begin. Okay, that was a lot of focus for me to make sure I paused it right before. At a nice ideal time when I knew the track was ending before the next one starts playing. Anyway, those were our first three tracks. It went pretty fast. That's mostly because the first track is just an intro to the EP. So let's talk about it. Um, so first of all, good job on recognizing leitmotifs. I used a lot. Leitmotifs are important. Just saying. um, but I do like using leitmotifs because I think, especially since I wanted this EP, um, I forgot to kind of say at the beginning. This EP is meant to be, it's reminiscent of a video game soundtrack. It's meant to kind of evoke a story of some sort as you kind of no clip into liminal space, find my inn, and kind of explore around and experience things and get in trouble. um, and so to kind of connect all the tracks together, there's a good amount of leitmotifs that are sprinkled throughout. So technically, three of them have already been introduced with these three tracks. So if you're able to catch what specific leitmotifs those are and where they were shown, I give you brownie points right now. But there should be three purposefully made leitmotifs that have been introduced so far in the first three tracks. You've been saying "Find My Pages Boy" meme so often, your brain registered "Find My N" in the same. Okay, I don't think I actually know that meme. You'll have to send me that later. Anyway, um, so the intro track is an intro track. It's some nice ambiance to set the mood. I love my silly trees in the wind with bird go chirp chirp and little dingling bell when you open the door and stuff. Nothing too surprising. That was A Transient Has Arrived. The second track, North is South, is the featured track of kind of the whole EP. Even though it's literally only the second track, I personally really, really enjoy it. Um, North is South is one of the tracks I made back in 2015, 2016. And it was because I had played a game from Newgrounds/Flash at the time called Seedling, and I really liked the way that um, the composer Rekadam, which is Mad Hacker backward, I really liked the way that and how they tackled the different dungeon themes in Seedling. So I made a bunch of experimental tracks at the time to make, and one of them was North is South. And North is South is kind of special to me because it's meant to be the forest theme for this EP. And my forest themes that I've made otherwise are a lot more calm, quiet, minimalist instrument wise. This is a lot more developed, I feel. A lot more developed than it was back in 2015, 2016 too, mind you. Um, but I enjoy making forest themes a lot as it turns out. So I'm really happy with North is South. And that was the name it originally had back in 2015, 2016. And it felt appropriate to keep the name because if I haven't talked about it before, this liminal space within my VTuber lore is non-Euclidean, so you can walk in directions, you can go around trees and obstacles and stuff, but you're kind of going around um, in a weird Euclidean. Why can I not enunciate a non-Euclidean geometry, and you can kind of get turned around when you least expect it. Um, so yeah. Walking sim Bonnie game where you collect room keys to find the end. Oh my god. So the rooms on Roblox, maybe without the horror elements. Maybe. Maybe. Um the third track that we just listened to is March 4th. I really this March so there are kind of 3 to 4, depending on your purchase. Purchase? Is that the right term? On your view. There are 3 to 4 battle themes on this EP, and March 4th is the first one. March 4th is also probably tied for my favorite battle theme from the EP. Leitmotif. Technically, both North is South and March 4th share the 2 same leitmotifs. So if you know which ones those are, good for you. But I love composing battle themes as someone who did a lot of game dev and music making for game dev stuff. And for March 4th, one, I think March 4th is pretty good at showcasing the fact that I like making ostinato bass lines, funky bass lines that have a melodic structure to them. Yeah, I like my bass lines. I just really like how this track came out. Very good battle theme. Nothing too extreme or anything. A nice steady flow, groovy, very nice. Definitely with horror elements, I see. Okay, understood. I guess that works fine. I guess. Well, I hope the other tracks in this EP work to that amount, except you're exploring liminal space. It's a JRPG, I guess is what we're going for here. Anyway, so if you started recognizing some of the leitmotifs, keep those in mind. Those leitmotifs will be returning, and keep an eye on the instrumental palette because I was very intent on the choice of certain instruments reappearing, not for like leitmotif purposes, but more so to keep the EP cohesive for the most part, instrument wise. So let's go ahead and listen to the next 3 tracks. Because, or should we do 4? I think we'll do the next 4 tracks, and then we'll do the last 4 after that. Because it's kind of convenient that me categorizing the tracks this way, they each kind of have like they have like a category, I guess. So we're moving out of the forest, is what I'm intending. If you have a different interpretation of or something, or different ideas and places, visuals that you think of when you listen to these tracks, I'd love to hear. I always love hearing both one, composing music, and having your own take on how to represent something in like a story or a video game, and knowing how to stretch your music composition skills in ways that may either fit tropes in past music or stretch it to different realms. And then 2, seeing how people kind of interpret it, and what kind of visuals they have instead, based on their experiences, what they've heard, the genres they enjoy, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and move on to the next 4 tracks because I think that's an appropriate grouping of tracks. Yeah, keep an eye on the leitmotifs. Why is this loading? Why is this loading? Hello. We're gonna refresh the page. Oh, right. I forget it does that. Because this thing hates me. Anyone else have that issue with YouTube? Like, you open something in a new tab, or like you even just refresh the page, and it doesn't want to play back at all. It's really weird. I've been having that issue for like a few weeks now. Anyway, now we can continue. And those were whatever the track number 4 to 7. Those were tracks 4 through 7. Also, yes, my chatbot has been very drastically updated. The commands are a lot nicer now. So I have to keep working on porting everything over from Nightbot, but now my bot would be supreme. Anyway, back to this. So let's talk about the tracks. So track number 4 was Facsimile of an Inn. I mentioned earlier in chat. I think it actually, yeah, it was the last track that I composed for the EP. It's actually the second version of a scrapped piece track. There was a previous iteration that would sound completely different, but had the same vibe of kind of being like the end theme. And I fully scrapped it and to go with something different. And I think at the time when I was trying to figure out what I was aiming for, I randomly fell into a rabbit hole of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and the way that the theme song uses a lovely amount of vibraphone, arpeggios and stuff, and piano. And I was like, wow, I love the homey, nostalgic feel that this choice of instruments gives. So that's why Facsimile of an Inn is really vibraphone heavy. Or at least with it kind of arpeggiating the chords throughout the entire piece is because I was on kind of like a vibraphone everywhere. Oh, no. Uh, but it works because I feel like it's a lot more kind of not fully sorrowful, but a little more melancholy lament like versus the previous track that I had for like for what was supposed to be like the end theme-esque. After that we had Fireborn's Cadence. That's my theme song. A lot of the elements in that track are actually taken from a song that I hope to eventually put out, which was a song that was from 2016, 2017. It's really important because that song kind of set the stage for that song. The lyrics that I originally wrote for the song, the theming of it is basically the same today, and that song is responsible for me picking the leitmotif that I use to this day. So it's pretty significant. But I wanted that track to be a typical, I guess, representative of a lot of music elements that I like. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for a specific vibe. So I just went with something that I would enjoy, I guess, more so than representative. So we have a funky bass line. We've got the leitmotifs. I got a good selection of instruments and a nice, interesting set of percussion that all kind of goes together. Sorry, I just got an email. What the fuck? I guess I get notified when people actually support me on Bandcamp, which I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm also like, anyway, if you don't recognize my leitmotif now, hopefully you do. The leitmotif has been my sub alert, I think, almost all the way since I've debuted as Bonnie. It has been here in existence for a while. I hope you recognize it a little more. There's a bit more phrasing to it than what you hear in the sub alert jingle, because it's meant to be kind of a call and response. Yeah. After that was Evening Bicker. I see that there's an ad break. I'm gonna have to talk through the ad break, but I'll talk really really slowly. So I'm not divulging too many details while people can't see this part of the commentary or listen, I guess. Evening Bicker was a battle theme that was also made 2015, 2016 area. um, it was for a separate game dev project because I had the main one that I was working on at the time, and there was a separate one, kind of like a spin-off plot line that I was going for. The whole theming was um, you explore a school at night, but it turns into kind of a demented dark dimension. Maybe like, I guess, kind of like Silent Hill, where you get a lot of monsters or people possessed by things that represent their inner traumas of their psyche. So it was originally called Nightly Bicker, but I was going for the same thing of kind of having the not horror elements for Evening Bicker. I actually remastered Evening Bicker on LMMS in 2020, I think. And I decided to bring it over to this EP because I thought it'd be fitting for like kind of the setting of the inn, you know. Um, my general lore is kind of 1980s, but I still have some Victorian elements from my previous branding and whatnot. So Evening Bicker kind of fit that. The last track that we just listened to, number 7, Clockwork Circles, actually also came from that game development side project in 2015, 2016. This one was actually drastically changed because the original composition, called Under the Stars, was written in 3/4 time, and I could have very easily kept this track in 3/4 time while still maintaining the melody and the leitmotifs and everything, but I decided to go into 4/4 time for whatever reason. um, so boohoo for me. I am very ashamed of myself. I promise I'll do more 3/4 tracks in the future. I'm so wee. Um, I'm very comfortable in the 4/4 common time signature, but yeah. You won't notice until we get into this last batch of tracks, but a new leitmotif has been introduced, and you probably will have noticed that some of the other leitmotifs so far have been quite reiterated over in the last 4 tracks that we just listened to. So do I need to talk about or tell y'all what the specific leitmotifs are? Or should I let y'all big brain it and pick out the leitmotifs yourself with your big music brains that are super wrinkly? Because we're all super cool and smart here. Because I know you all are. Yeah. How many leitmotifs do we have? It's 1, 2, 3. I think there's like a total of 4 main leitmotifs in the EP. Intentfully, I'm pretty sure. It'd be really funny if I was missing one because I'm stupid. Even though I'm the one who composed all of these. Your P brain, please explain. Okay. I'll explain the leitmotifs at the end because what I also want to do after we do the listening section is I'm going to showcase the old versions of some of these tracks for y'all, and then we can do kind of a dig through of the actual tracks on my program LMMS, and we can kind of dive into the leitmotifs there. But there should be like a total of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, wait. 1, 2, 3. The 4. I keep counting to 4. I think there's only 4 leitmotifs. If I'm gonna listen to all of this, I'm gonna be like, JK, there's another one. Anyway, let's go ahead and listen to the last 4 tracks of this EP. These are all grouped together. They're a little more scattered about theming wise, but it is meant to be the end of the EP. the end of the storyline that's being told of exploring my liminal space. So let's hope YouTube doesn't try to load the video and stall me for a moment, but let's get into it. I had to very quickly pause that before and not let the video end, because if the video ends, it's going to pull up all my YouTube recommendations, which is going to be a bunch of K-pop. And as much as I've shown that before on stream and I've played K-pop during all the co-working streams that I've done, I'm kind of not going to let that happen. So, gonna back it up really quick. Okay. And that was the EP. Mika, also thank you for the 2 gifted subs. Mom, thank you so much. But also, what the fuck? Calm down. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed listening to the EP. Very happy to finally throw shit out into the world. But before we continue with anything else, let's do some commentary on these last 4 tracks. So we listened to 2 tracks, 8 through 11. Number 8 was Traces of the Past. That was also a track from 2015-2016. That was actually from my main game dev project and was originally called Call of the Ancient Settlers. And it was intended on being like a desert slash canyon slash prairie sort of like theme. The general game dev project was kind of you explore various locations worldwide. So that would include locations like Stonehenge and the pyramids and Machu Picchu. Um, it's like a lot of traveling all across the world, and a lot of game locations are kind of relevant, which is why when we did our first Music Monday of this year, I uh, chose Salt Flats, and I also mentioned Lake Baikal for the Cracking Ice Lakes Music Monday, because I have a lot of knowledge of random locations because of that. But Traces of the renamed to Traces of the Path for this EP, I brought it here because to one, expand on the spectrum of area themes that we have, and two, because I think it'd be really interesting to see how much it's juxtaposed as a theme for exploring liminal spaces. So using it as the theme for I find it interesting in a jarring way to kind of think of it as like, how does this sound if you're thinking of it being used when you're exploring like office hallways and the typical liminal spaces that people think of instead of going for a more eerie, forlorn, kind of mysterious, minimalist, sparse composition. And training it as like a teehee, I'm touring. This is a liminal tourism, teehee. So I think it's kind of interesting that I kind of intended it that way, knowing very well that it was not how this track was originally made or what it was intended for when I first made it like 10 years ago. But I like it. I think it expands on giving a little additional variety to the storyline, and I'm kind of curious as to what y'all kind of thought of when you heard Traces of the Past. If you thought of places similar to what I intended for it 10 years ago, or if maybe you thought of something closer to what I was intending this time around, or maybe you had completely different ideas of like quote unquote liminal spaces or non-liminal spaces to explore. I'd love to know. Also, hi Zal, hello, welcome on in. We have just finished the main portion of the listening party, and we're kind of doing some commentary right now. I hope you're doing well though. The track right after that is I should be skipping through this because I can just show it on screen. Number 9 was Dive and Drown. So I said in the chat, I actually was intending on making an accompanying area theme for Dive and Drown, because the intended purpose for this one, originally intended as a battle theme, was kind of like a water themed area. So, I was thinking about like the pool rooms and all the pools and everything that's popular in liminal spaces. And I was like, okay, let's make a battle theme for it. And I was intending on bringing over one of my old underwater themes that I made from like 5 years ago as the accompanying theme for this, but I didn't really like where it was going. So I kind of scrapped it. But we can take a listen to it during our next section. But that was definitely one where there were a lot of extra things that I would have wanted for this EP. I was like thinking like maybe I should have included like a battle victory theme, things like that. But in the end, I didn't want to stress myself out knowing that my self-imposed, only self-imposed because a person on Blue Sky was telling me I should hurry up and release music, and March was going to be the deadline. So it's March 1st. So hello. Um, self-imposed deadline. I was like, I don't think I want to try to force myself to try to compose any new stuff. So we're gonna leave the EP as is with the tracks that we have, and we're not gonna do anything else. um, but that was Dive and Drown. Um, thank you, Blue Sky Person T. After that is number 10, Your Finale, which is my other favorite battle theme from the EP. This one I think was one of the first few tracks to be made for this EP, since I'm good at battle themes. Um, I think this EP, or no, I think this track is responsible for one of the leitmotifs. I think I first posed it melodically in this track and then was decided to use it as the leitmotif throughout the other tracks. Hurrah. Hurrah. I don't have much to say about Your Finale. That one, I had some newer inspirations of like Newfory, some more hardcore electronic sounds for this one, which I'm a lot more familiar with. Um, this one went through a few changes too, because I kind of bounced back and forth between using more organic orchestral instruments and just using more synthetic ones for this track, and I kind of went for the more synthetic ones in the end, instead of using stringed instruments and stuff and guitars. Um, Mainly because I liked the original timbres of the lead synthesizers that make the lead melodies. Because it kind of adds to the almost futuristic, outlandish, strange, foreign, not a place you're part of vibe. Then, last but not least, is Departure, the final track. Departure is technically not from an old composition. But I'd be lying if I didn't say an old composition helped me to create Departure. I had a really old track from 10 years ago, which was a really old theme song that I had for my character, self-insert in the game. And it was a chord progression that played throughout the song, or the track, sorry. And the one key thing was, or what I did was I tried taking the top notes off of each chord, and that formed the first four notes that you hear in Departure. And I expanded upon that because I realized that those four notes technically help form the basis for the Westminster bells. If you don't know the Westminster bell theme, you probably did at least recognize the melody that played in this track, the Westminster Quarter specifically, or some variation of it. You might know it from school alarms from elementary, middle, or high school, from clock towers. And I really liked that it had that image, that evocation, because it fit really well with how a lot of things with liminal spaces is there's one, the sense of nostalgia, which is more of an added thing on top of what liminality is supposed to be in regards to internet pop culture and how they perceive liminal spaces as something that's nostalgic, with senses of canopsia, places that are abandoned when they shouldn't be. So going with the Westminster Quarters for Departure was kind of like a, hey, here's a nostalgic jingle that a lot of people will recognize and have particular associations with. Um, and I really was like, perfect. This works super well with the context I want to go for the ZP. So that's Departure. And if you didn't get the hints of the leitmotifs by now, don't worry. In the next section, we'll be reviewing some of the old versions of tracks and stuff, and we will be going over all of the leitmotifs and where they appear. There's an Acer who has pea brain, according to them. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening and for supporting. Again, it's in the pinned message if you want to listen to this yourself on YouTube. There's the link so you can listen to it on your own time. If you wanted to buy the EP or individual tracks to have locally so you can listen to it on your own time, the Bandcamp link to the EP is also in the pinned message. The whole EP minimum price is $7 and individual tracks are $1. You are able to pay more. As I have just noticed from a certain email. Apparently I got a new power-up, which means I can now immediately upload higher file sizes now for Bandcamp tracks, which is cool, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate you all. Hopefully this is just this first step will help me get more comfortable with like, okay, it's time to put more music out there, you know. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have some singles and stuff, and maybe I'll finally move forward and then release songs. But for now, we're here. So what I'd like for us to do is we're gonna go ahead and go over to my usual scenes, and we're gonna review some music together. So let's go ahead and jump over. Hello. This is a familiar scene to many of y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the new movie theater also. So, first things first, I'm going to open up Anvil Studio, which is the program I first started with when I first started making music 10 years ago. MIDI compositions. I need to first, however, grab another one that I forgot to grab that kind of would be important, which is the theme song for myself that I talked about. We're gonna go into the folder that I assembled all of these in to make this easier for myself. Put it in here. So let's open Anvil Studio. I think the capture should be set on it. There it is. Hello, Anvil Studio. Let's go in order from the beginning of the EP. And it just so happens that I opened up North is South. So again, as I was saying during the initial stuff, North is South is a track that I made 10-ish years ago after I was listening to the OST for Seedling. And so I refined it a lot more for this iteration. I want to see if there's like a, can I make the UI bigger for us? Preferences? No. Okay, well, enjoy the tiny size. I also don't know how the audio is going to sound on this, so enjoy. But this is the very, very early 10 years ago version of North is South. I forget how abruptly it ends when Anvil Studio stops playing. A lot of the tracks that I made at this time for the specific batch of experimental video game tracks, a lot of them were very much so unrefined, unfinished, not finished products at all. I honestly don't know what urged me to go back to this selection of tracks, but I guess I was looking through a lot of my old stuff and wondering what I wanted to bring to the EP. And instead of looking at the typical forest themes that I have made before that I've enjoyed, I guess something about North is South specifically, maybe the naming also, was like, ooh, this might be the perfect one that I need for the EP. Okay, so next one that we'll check out is we'll go into the original version of Evening Bicker, originally called Nightly Bicker. This one will sound a lot more familiar. This one sounds almost exactly the same as Evening Bicker. I don't know why I chose that specific instrument for the lead in the section B for this, but I'm glad I was a lot more picky with recreating it in LMMS. I'm like, interesting choice. Anyway, next up is Clockwork Circles. So the original form for Clockwork Circles, this track was called Under the Stars, and it was originally in 3/4 time. But a lot of things that were brought over was the way the chords work. Those arpeggiated chords and some of the general progressions of the sections in this piece were kind of kept. But again, a lot of things were changed with the introduction to the leitmotifs and me refining things, because again, this was made like, what, 10 years ago? So here is Under the Stars, the prototype to Clockwork Circles. That ended so abruptly. The Clockwork Circles is like, what, like 5 minutes? I think it's still a 2 loop still, but even then I think the actual progression of the arrangement is still a lot longer than how it originally was, which I'm like, oh, amazing. More drawn out themes, because one of the things I like in video game music is one thing Etrian Odyssey does, for example, in the later OSTs, is it has 2 loops, and the 2 loops of the sections are already pretty long as it is. But then it's one of the default battle themes of one of the later Etrian Odyssey games, but after the second loop, they introduce a bridge section. And the loops are already long as it is, so assuming the battles go pretty quickly for you, you're not going to really hear that bridge section down the line. But there's this nice, really cool bridge section that really elaborates more on what we've already listened to for like 2 long loops, and it's really cool. I really like that, and then also just still having 2 loops, but having 1 loop have slight developments, which is what I tried to do through my EP. So you weren't just listening to the same thing twice. Although I know North is South does that, and Evening Bicker. Evening Bicker was not meant to do that. I did have something development-wise for the second section, or the second loop, and I was like, never mind. And then Fireborn's Cadence, it's its own fully differently developed thing. Similar structures in both loops, but their developments are vastly different. Anyway, this is the progenitor to Traces of the Past. This is called Call of the Ancient Settlers again. Have I always had a gem on my face? Do you mean the bandage that's on my cheek? That's been there since last year, almost exactly. Yeah. I think. I don't remember when I first started conceptualizing this design, but it's been a year. Anyway, here is Call of the Ancient Settlers. This one is also very, very similar to the current iteration of Traces of the Past. Yay, pan heavy song! I tried to keep the panning the same in the version that you hear in the EP. I didn't do it. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say I did it terribly, but I didn't make it that intense, I would say. Yeah, that one was very much so another one of the tracks that wasn't super changed, but more updated with my updated music skills, I guess, like what, like 5? Because this one, I think this one I also actually recreated like 5 years later in LMMS, before then 5 years later again, bringing it to the EP. Similar to Evening Bicker, basically. Yeah. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed seeing these blasts to the past. Let's wrap it up and talk about leitmotifs. So if you haven't seen the leitmotifs, or if you don't recognize the leitmotifs, I mean, we're going to talk about them. We're going to help you out. We're going to start with the first track. Once this loads, okay. We're going to switch our window to LMMS. I'm going to close Anvil Studio. Why is... Hold on, I'm going to do that really quick because I noticed that the capture on this is kind of not fully extending where it should be. Be helpful if I disabled snapping for this, I would say. Please be nice to me. Okay. I don't know where this is. Is it sitting centered enough? Wait. Ooh, a little more up. Okay. Go back in here. Okay, thank you. Okay. So I was thinking about the intro track, Transient Has Arrived, and I was like, I guess you could argue that so there's 4 leitmotifs throughout the EP that I intended on. So motif 1 is my personal theme leitmotif, the Bonnie leitmotif. Second one is the liminal space one. Third one is the danger one, and then the fourth one is the forest one. The forest one only appears in the beginning of the EP, and every other leitmotif is sprinkled throughout. So this first track introduces the Bonnie leitmotif, but you could also argue that the liminal space leitmotif is kind of intertwined with it, which I don't know if that was me subconsciously doing it. But if you don't know what the Bonnie leitmotif sounds like, here, we'll just... If you didn't recognize it, in the kalimba melody. This section right here is the Bonnie leitmotif. And if you don't notice it well enough, let's go to the facsimile of an N, where it plays at the end. Sorry, I also had to drink water because my throat is like killing me. Hold on. Okay. There's the leitmotif. That's the full phrasing of the leitmotif. This is the full proper way the leitmotif sounds. Let me make sure I also unmute my Twitch alerts. But yeah, if you've heard my sub alerts before, that is the Bonnie leitmotif. So if you jump over to my theme song, if you haven't recognized it enough already, the leitmotif is quite literally everywhere in this song, in this track. And it's over here. Yeah, leitmotif. They're everywhere. And over here also with the chiptune one. I'm pretty sure those are the only places where the Bonnie leitmotif exists. The next motif is the forest leitmotif. First appears in north is south and is literally the ostinato that is going throughout most of this piece. The kalimba specifically is the playing the leitmotif. This leitmotif only plays on one other track, and that is the associated battle theme, March 4th, which is right after this. If you haven't noticed it, it plays here in the B section. Yep. Honestly, I think when I was constructing or composing the battle theme, I think it was a very pleasant surprise that I was like, ooh, what should I add for section B after the intro in section A? And I was like, what if I try to tie it in with the horse theme? And I tried sticking in the kalimba arpeggio, and I was like, wow, this fits great. It's staying. And that's how this helped tie this in as like the forest battle theme. But yeah, the forest leitmotif only appears like twice ever. P. The next leitmotif that we can talk about is the danger one. The danger one and the liminal space one are those two leitmotifs are the most prominent one. So the danger one, we have to go back into north to south in the second track. The danger leitmotif already pops up here. If we go to the end of the section before the changing key bridge, the melody is marked by the tubular bell here. So if we go into March 4th, that little 3-note melody plays right at the beginning here. And plays in almost every other danger sounding theme that we have, whether it's a battle theme or a tension theme or a boss theme. And then if we go to Dive and Drown, and then if we go into your finale, oh, I think I need to play from here. That is the danger leitmotif. It's one of the more super prominent ones, but it's only 3 notes, so it's not as prominent, and it gets developed in different ways by a lot of these. The last leitmotif, which also pops up in a lot of places, starting with Where would I put it, actually? I guess before we do that, in liminal end, technically the body motif is also playing at the beginning. Anyway, I don't think the liminal space leitmotif is here. It starts appearing in clockwork circles as the main melody. Then if we immediately go into Traces of the Past, basically all of the all of the tracks starting from Clockwork Circles after have the liminal space leitmotif. So right here we go into this little bridge section between the loops. And then we go into Dive and Drown. And then we go into your finale. It also plays at the beginning. And it also plays in the last track, Departure. So if you weren't able to as quickly detect the leitmotifs throughout the EP, hopefully this gave you a better idea of what the leitmotifs are and where they're located and the reason why they're there and what they kind of imply vibe-wise or I guess also alternatively what they're connecting, since that's what leitmotifs do a lot. Showing consistent themes helps you kind of set a stage for like, oh, this is going to be a battle theme, or hey, this is something related to like the whole liminal space. There's Bonnie's involved in this somehow, you know. Like in the end one, like it's like, oh, literally it's the end that Bonnie runs. Of course, Bonnie's leitmotif would be here, sneaking around. Yeah. Leitmotifs, very fun. Try not to overdo it, obviously, but you know, use them well is the important part, I would say. I guess the last things we'll do before we wrap up this listening party is let's talk about some of the more modern scrap tracks that we had. So the associated water theme that I had for Dive and Drown was taken from a theme that I had written, maybe it was 5 years? It might have been 5 years ago. So more recent than most everything else. And it was a theme I used for literally exploring the Pacific Ocean. And I tried to I was trying to incorporate a new leitmotif for the whole water aspect. But I didn't like where I was going with this piece, so I didn't really make it happen. But this is what it originally sounded like. I couldn't really decide on where to stick the leitmotif along with the existing melodies that I had when I was pulling this track from my old archive. I think that's kind of why I was kind of stuck, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this for now. So it got scrapped in the end. This track that I just opened is called Kitsch Doilies, and this was the original iteration of what the end theme was supposed to be. And I actually don't remember if... I think this had leitmotifs in it too. This one definitely had the liminal space one, and I think the Bonnie leitmotif is sprinkled in here also. But very different vibe from this one. Yay, leitmotif at the end. Okay, yeah. I probably could have included this along with the newer end theme, but alas. It's sad because I also really like this one. It's just I think I didn't enjoy how prominent the liminal space leitmotif was in this one also. So in the end, I ended up recreating it and went for a more solemn vibe when I was trying to figure out what to make best for the EP. But yeah, I think that's it for all the commentary and stuff that I have to share for the EP. I think that's it. So since we're here, let's go ahead and hop back to the front lobby without the projector screen here. And I guess let's wrap up the stream since our listening party is over. Thank you again, everyone. Here's to hoping I get more confident to keep releasing stuff. No promises, but also I have to commit to it now. I wanna do some stuff with like the Music Mondays that we've done, like because I really enjoyed the pieces we've made so far this year for Music Mondays. Whether that's like, I don't know if maybe we'll do like a poll and y'all kind of choose which Music Monday we kind of finish up for release and stuff, or maybe I just compile them myself into a collection and we just kind of release it. It's really funny because a lot of them have kind of similar vibes, although Mika's epic cooking video stash is kind of the odd one out. But otherwise, there could be some themes that we could be going with. But I do want to do some single releases, you know, make individual album arts for just individual tracks and go from there. Because then I can showcase both my music and my illustration skills at the same time, and also kind of force myself to work more on making backgrounds. But yeah, would I mind if you tried promoting my AP? No worries, do as you will. I will not yell at you. I will be very thankful, also shy and embarrassed, but I appreciate the efforts and I will be much grateful. I really wanted to get a good start on advertising the stuff a lot earlier. I know I announced it like only a week ago, really, but hopefully I'll have a better hang of it for future releases. But no promises. It helps you too. We can learn to advertise and the markets together. Oh, okay. I will have more serious marketing when it comes to like actually releasing songs versus tracks, mind you. I have much stricter ideas, much more elaborate stuff planned out when it comes to songs. So whenever I get around to doing that, that'll be, you'll notice the changes pretty fast. Yeah. I do not know anyone that actively uses TikTok much. Some of my friends still do, I think. I'm not really sure. It's pretty sparse, the people I know that are using it nowadays. Unfortunately. Yeah. Reminder again, if you haven't heard me say it enough. In the pinned message, you can listen to the album fully on YouTube, and if you want to download it and buy it and support me and get the files locally, you can go to the Bandcamp link and go there to get it. And I think you can make an account or something and you get the Bandcamp app. You can use the Bandcamp app to listen like a music app, which would be great for when I have future music releases and you want to buy all of them for whatever reason, and you want to listen to all of my music and anyone else that you find on Bandcamp. I've got the Tunic OST on Bandcamp, for example, so you can listen to video game OSTs that are released on Bandcamp too, and maybe you have a lot of other indie creators that also use Bandcamp. Support us, please. Ooh. And remember, again, the prices we set usually are like minimum prices unless the creator has specifically disabled let fans pay more if they want. But yeah, let me go ahead and do my outro. Of course, gotta do the outro. Thank you all for chilling here and for joining this listening party. If you weren't, and the YouTube one, of course. I gave you all 4 head kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. If you enjoyed your stay here and enjoyed our new movie theater, make sure to follow. For upcoming stream information, I only announce that on my Discord server. So I should get back to a regular streaming schedule after this weekend. So we'll do Music Monday and more art stuff, the usual. To get updates on art and music, you'll have to find me on my social media though, because I post on Blue Sky and Tumblr, mainly, only. I'm trying to catch up on Instagram. I haven't in a hot while. Anyway, Make sure to also grab your stamp for the session if you haven't already, and also explore. You know, I code my own stuff. And yeah, I don't know if I should raid out because I'm shy. And I don't really want to have to be like, yeah, points, index fingers together. I was doing a listening party for my debut EP. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I can't. This is too much. Too shy. Ugh. You're my manager suddenly? Okay. As my manager, you highly recommend raiding. Okay. Okay. Who should we raid? There's a lot of people that I know that are online right now, especially since this is a lot earlier than when I usually would finish my stream. I don't know if there's anyone in particular that y'all want to see. Raid Bonnie, thanks. Nothing like a cheeky raid to Clover Inari. We could. Actually, don't know what... Actually, wait. Maybe I have seen this. Someone else. This game. Isn't it with the weird mascot puppet looking ones? But it's like... It looks like a selling sort of thing. Like, I don't know if it's like Lethal Company, because I still haven't played Lethal Company myself. And I only partially understand how that works. I mean, I guess we can say hi to Clover. More comfortable visiting a bigger streamer more so than visiting the smaller friendo streams, because I will literally explode if I have to be like, I was... A warning? It's a collab stream? It is. I do see that. I wonder, maybe it might be better to not go into the collab stream? Question mark. Maybe we could go say hi to JP, actually. We can say hi to JP. I haven't been able to catch lots of JP's streams lately. It's been a while since I've been very sparse with visiting his streams, so maybe we can say hi to him. I think we'll do that. Just so we have someone to raid, and I'm not here like... So we'll go raid JP. As always, nothing has really much changed, even though I updated my bot. Here's our custom raid message. If you have a subscription to me, please use a sub emote at the end. Okay, Acer, I promise. I'm raiding, we're doing the raid. Promise. If you don't have a subscription, you can still get the sub emotes to use temporarily. If you go into power ups and rewards, you can choose an emote to unlock for 80 channel points. Very easy peasy, you get like 300 channel points when you first follow anyway, so unless you're like somehow really spending your channel points somehow, it should not be an issue. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming to the listening parties. I can probably relax now. For a bit. Thank you for stretches and hydrates, so we'll make sure to do that as we head out. But thank you again everyone, I appreciate you all. Please enjoy. Listen on Bandcamp, maybe buy it, watch it on YouTube, maybe leave comments. Help me fight the algorithms. Thank you. Thank you to White and Mika for the resub/gifted subs. And thank you in general to Citrona, White, Milo, Toad, Cooley, Acer, Mothking, Blueberry, Mika, and Zao. And anyone else that maybe didn't make their presence known if they were lurking. I appreciate you all. We're going to sit here because I never made the outro screen, which I guess is fine. But please give lots of love to JP. He's playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I know a lot of people were talking about Monster Hunter recently. Is that like the new game? Is that like a new game or something? Oh, JP voice jump scare.